German Chancellor Angela Merkel is due to meet Russian President Vladimir Putin at the Kremlin later today. The meeting comes exactly 1 year since the poisoning of Kremlin critic Alexei Navalny. Navalny was airlifted to a Berlin hospital after falling ill. Tests revealed the deadly nerve agent Novichok in his system. The EU and other nations hold Moscow responsible. After months of recuperation, Navalny voluntarily returned to Russia and was immediately arrested. He was then tried and jailed for violating a 2014 suspended prison sentence. His arrest sparked mass protests and international condemnation. To this day, Navalny remains in jail, and the Kremlin denies any involvement in his poisoning. Well, a year on, pressure on the opposition in Russia is mounting. DW's Emily Sherwin reports.
Hello, you're a foreign agent. That's the name of a new podcast presented by Sonya Groisman and Olga Churakova. The journalists are using the show to talk about their new reality. They were declared foreign agents in July by Russian authorities, and their former employer, Projekt, an investigative media outlet that regularly criticized the government, had to close under pressure. Olga Churakova says the poisoning of opposition politician Alexei Navalny was a turning point for all Kremlin critics.
It would have been impossible to imagine even a few years ago that they would poison Navalny and then put him in jail. And then the screws were tightened so incredibly quickly on everything else. It feels like Russia is heading towards becoming just as repressive as Belarus.
But to veteran opposition politician Yulia Galyamina, the pressure is nothing new. She's helping Marina Litvinovich, one of the few critical candidates who managed to register for the upcoming elections with her campaign. Galyamina can't run herself because of a suspended prison sentence for involvement in anti-government protests.
You talk about Navalny's poisoning, but what about the murder of opposition politician Boris Nemtsov? This is nothing new. But people who are going into independent politics already know what they have to expect, and they're prepared psychologically for difficulties like this. Of course, that's unpleasant. Of course, I don't want to be poisoned or put in prison, but I know that those are risks that hang over me.
Only a minority of Russians say they support Alexei Navalny, but people here do seem to feel the crackdown that followed his poisoning. An independent survey shows that around half of Russians say they fear that widespread political repression could return to the country. Olga Churakova feels she and other critical journalists are in the eye of the storm. She says the foreign agent label has made her feel like an enemy in her own country. Meanwhile, for months, critical media outlets have been facing police searches, arrests, and closures.
If you write about politics and do investigations, you won't have a future here. You'll either be arrested or declared a foreign agent or expelled from the country. It's completely clear that there's no future here. Journalism in Russia is over.
Opposition politician Yulia Galyamina is more optimistic about the future, even if many of her colleagues have been forced to leave Russia in recent months. She's pouring her energy into campaigning and talking to voters.
There is a lot of apathy. People are tired because nothing is changing and they don't trust anyone. But that doesn't mean we should give up and hang up our hats. Now we are taking part in the elections.
Galyamina believes the ongoing pressure will create a new generation of fearless politicians, people prepared to accept the new Russia after Navalny's poisoning as the new normal.